Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing what I call, or I'm going to call, part 2 of my Simula at Wakas EP reaction. There isn't a technical, part 1 single video. However, I have reacted to both the Damn music video as well as the Time music video, and I will put cards to both above. I always also put the playlist for all my SB19 reactions words in the cards as well for you guys. Today we're going to be reacting to 8TonBall and Quit. We have lyric videos for both. It's really amazing that they took the time to make lyric videos for all of the songs, as well as the two MVs that we've gotten. I really respect that, especially as an international fan. That because I don't speak Tagalog, I might not be able to follow necessarily as well. If the song isn't in English or doesn't have many English lyrics or so on and so forth. So I really appreciate that. 8TonBall I'm seeing was written by Josh and Benji Bay, I think that says. I'm sorry, the text is really small at the moment for me. I am going to be very interested to hear what this will sound like. Pause warning before we get into this. I am a pauser. This is a reaction video. To be fair, even if it wasn't a reaction video, I would still be pausing a bunch. I am autistic. Pausing helps me process my thoughts. Yeah, if that's not for you, that's totally okay. But we're going to dive into 8TonBall right now. Let's go.
Wait a second, cause we going to the
Ooh.
top.
Okay. I mean, wait a second is exactly right, because we're 3 seconds in and I didn't have time to do anything. What is that whispered vocal there, Justin? That sounds like Justin. What is that? What is that whisper? Ooh.
Wait a second, cause we going to the top. Made a bed and now I'm floating, never stopping. Wait a second, cause we going to the top. And made a bet and now floating, never stop.
Okay, already. Also, what a great freeze frame. Stella looks gorgeous. That entire composition looks gorgeous. Anyway, already, I can feel the Josh vibes from this. Like we're only 12 seconds in, but already it's got that that same kind of feeling that I got with some of Josh's solo material. Interesting. I wonder how these lyrics are going to play into 8TonBall as a title.
Cause we going to the top. And made a bet and now floating, never stop. Break it up, breathe in, exhale.
Shut up. That was perfect. That's like a way of just changing sections there. The way the music changed up, and then Ken's low voice there. That was good. Also, is Stell the main? I love that Stell has been like the majority of this video so far.
Break it up, breathe in, exhale. Shake 'em up.
Oh, that breath is, sorry, I love that. Just the rhythm of did it, and then that breath sound. Oh my god, I love it.
See, we're breaking all the rules, going all up with a bang. Just doing what I want, what I can. Serious. Logging me serious, bitch, delirious, never, huh? Thinking I do my thing, ridiculous game, is so long a busy, huh? Hit 'em up, better up, yeah. Hell of a clear. Gonna make it pop, let's run it up. I made this game. No way.
I love that. obviously there's some Tagalog that I don't understand, so please feel free to fill it. I love that this. I feel like you could almost like see as Josh was writing this. And I'm just projecting here, but like you could just almost imagine him like dancing around as he's like writing this. Um, like I feel like just kind of like the way that these lyrics sound, it's almost like that kind of I almost like imagine like him doing like a mini like hip hop dance as he's writing this. Um, so far we're talking lyrically here about um, kind of not just what SB19 have done, but kind of what Josh has done as well in this musical space, about kind of and not just even in music, just kind of what he's doing here and what they're doing here, kind of by themselves, if that makes sense. Um, because you've got you. Sorry, that was way too far back. Um, obviously, for the music side, you've got all of these kind of boundaries and things and expectations of, for instance, what makes a Filipino artist. That they've changed all of those rules. They've almost kind of like reinvented what it means to be a Filipino artist. They've broken that kind of not necessarily rule, but that almost like inner suggestion that like SB19 couldn't rise. Like if you imagine like a few years ago, um, more than a few years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, um, it might have been unheard of for a Filipino act to kind of get um, as kind of far as as SB19 have, and so they're breaking all these rules. They're making all the way. I love how this sounds, and I like this line here just because it's so simple, but it's just like I'm just doing what I can, just doing what I want, just what I can. There's like almost like no expectations. It's like it's easy. It's not that it, it's almost like he's saying like it's not a stress, which again is interesting with the title being 8-ton ball. Um, um, yeah, it's interesting.
Laging may serious, mysterious nga ba, huh? Tingala matang ridiculous game, sulong ang busy, huh?
It's so interesting. It's so interesting here, like as we heard Josh earlier. It's so interesting here, hearing Pablo um, doing someone else's rap. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously with Josh and oh, I'm so sorry. I already blanked on the name because I had such a hard time pronouncing it. Um, but the writers of this, obviously with Josh, the writer of this with Josh, um, it must have been an interesting experience almost to hand off control to kind of someone else, if that makes sense. Stell fits in this like a glove. You know, he's the sort of chameleon. He can go anywhere, and do anything. I feel like with his voice, and suit it to any writer. I think that puts their lyrics in front of him. Um, um, obviously, I don't know what tingala means, but it sounds like a. I hope it's not a swear word because it sounds like a really echolalia. When you repeat words and sounds, it sounds like a word that I would make into an echolaliac word, that would trigger my echolalia. Anyway, come on, Josh. Ooh. We've been getting a lot of Justin Ken um, back to backs this era. I feel like with time and then now with this, I love that we got Justin's voice here. I saw a comment on my time reaction because obviously this is after I've posted my time reaction, and they were like they were talking about how much Justin has improved, and it's like I'm in two minds because on the well, I know like the history of like of Justin and like how he had to learn how to improve his voice. For me, I've always had this good standard of voice from Justin, and so while he has gotten better and all the members have gotten better, on the one side I'm like, but he's always been great, you know, since I've known of SB19 and of Justin. Um, Interesting. But yeah, it's interesting. Paved no way, and then talking about like it's almost like a conversation, like with someone, like someone's been like, it's almost like a rebuttal, like someone's like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and then like it's almost like a, what do you mean, kind of thing. Um, um, and then again, just before that with Josh's rap, um, yeah, I feel like you can tell that this is a song that he's contributed lyrics to because he feels like it's almost like he's wrapped, metaphorically wrapped these lyrics around him, and like I feel like he's how do I say it? You know, that whole like rappers write their raps kind of thing. There's that real confidence that comes from that. I feel like in here, um, which I really like.
Boy, respect my name. Breaking less the way we change the ways. I'm taking my claim like any money more what you doing. Yeah, we here now, what we losing. I've been working for my desire. We roll or die. We on the hot, we move it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you feel the change? Break hard. 8-ton-ball, might come crashing down on the ground. 8-ton-ball, yeah, we break it down. Get it, get it. You know what?
Okay, so that makes more sense now. You know, it's always like just wait because it'll make sense. I was wondering what the 8-ton ball was gonna be, and I thought it was gonna be because I expected like a sad song. Obviously, you guys told me like no, no, no. It, um, the next songs are all much happier and stuff, and I was like, I don't believe you. I'm fragile. And so I was expecting like some kind of sadder kind of song and maybe like something feeling like an 8-ton ball. Um, but no, here we've got this idea of a wrecking ball like taking like a sledgehammer to stuff, literally changing the landscape of things. I want to know like the just on on the topic of the lyric video, just what the plan was. Like, did they just kind of say to like to like the to Stella and the makeup team and stuff like that, just be like, we're just gonna film you because obviously we've only really seen Stella at this point as well as the environment. Like, we're just gonna film you looking really good for 3 minutes and 29 seconds, and we're just gonna edit it and it's gonna look great. If the other members are coming in after this, I'm gonna be like, okay, never mind, eat my words. But so far, it feels like they've just been like, Stel, just do your thing, just look good like you always do. We're just gonna film you for 3 minutes and 29 seconds. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna come back to this. Like, look at that face. Oh, perfect. Anyway,
We on the hot, we move it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you feel the change?
I feel like that would this. I feel like this part, that yeah 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 part, would work really well. Again, obviously, I'm only 59 seconds in, but I feel like that would work really well at like one of the concerts. If it's a repeated section, like you could have like a breakdown section, and just have like the audience and stuff, singing along and doing stuff. Sorry.
Can you feel the change? Break hard.
Yes.
8-ton-ball, might come crashing down on the ground. 8-ton-ball, yeah, we break it down. Get it, get it. Di naman lang basta. Mas malakas ang nasta. Wait, I'm Captain. So what the
Ooh.
fly?
In the background, there's like this almost like the only word I can think of is the word oozing. There's like an oozing synth in the background, like it's oozing synth texture in the background, going in the background. It's so interesting. Again, you guys are gonna have to tell me what the Tagalog says, but I'm assuming we're getting flexing, we're getting kind of um, kind of vibes in the same kind of ballpark is here, about being fly, about being cool, all that kind of stuff. I love that we've just got Stell dancing in a random place, by the way. Obviously you can't, you guys might be able to tell where this is, but it looks very nondescript to me, so it could be anywhere. It's probably in the Philippines, but it could be anywhere in the Philippines, if you know what I mean. But if you guys know where it is, feel free to let me know. But I just love the idea of, again, Stell, just go and go over here. We'll film you for 3 minutes 29 seconds. Just look good. Just dance a bit. Just um, 'cause it's just like I just want to know what that conversation was for the lyric video, because obviously I don't expect a music video with a lyric video, if that makes sense. But the fact that they went and out of their way to get all of this footage, because that's still a lot of work, you know, setting up, lighting, camera, crew, all that jazz. Oh, I love that motor loud, we coming louder. Because motor, you could like say like your voice, as well as obviously a car motor, bike motor, all that kind of thing. But it's like our movement is even louder than that. Ooh. There's almost something in the I've been noticing it throughout, but I haven't said it yet. There's almost something in the melody that's almost quite traditional sounding. Just in some of the notation choices. That's very interesting, being fused with this this more modern, obviously up to date contemporary hip hop kind of beat. Well, hang on. Bitter attention we growing in delicacy of the scars. That is an interesting lyrics, an interesting lyric, and it's almost I don't know if I'm understanding this line right. Bitter attention sounds like obviously people who have wanted SB19 as a group to fail, Josh to fail by him, you know, maybe both. And it's almost like he's saying, if I'm understanding it right, the scars he's referring to is kind of maybe the adversity that they've faced in their past, as well as obviously what these people are saying to them. But saying like we blow, and it's almost like it's we blowing it off, like it doesn't matter, it's skin off a duck's back, kind of skin off a duck's back, skin off a duck, water off a duck's back, as well as obviously with the title 8TonBall, blowing is obviously like blowing a hole in, breaking a hole, breaking a wall down kind of thing. Interesting. If I didn't get that right, obviously again, please let me know. But that's kind of what I get. That was a lot in like 2 seconds. What? I love the way that we went from Josh's rap there to Ken's. That was Ken, right? Yeah, it is. Sorry. I had a mind blank for a second there. It's really early in the morning for me right now. And my brain just confused the earlier part with Pablo with this in my head. So I'm really sorry about that. But just the way that we moved from Josh to Ken there. And it's like in my head, all I can think of is, because obviously I'm imagining this song in two ways. I'm imagining it in the way that we've kind of, that we're listening to it, but also in the way that Josh would have, because I assumed when they were recording this, when they were writing this and stuff, Josh would have done like the guide vocals and the guide stuff for that. I'm just imagining like in my head, like what Josh's voice texture on this part would sound like versus Ken. But this part here, it's just a perfect it's a rallying cry. You can almost imagine like them. This is gonna sound so random. If you've ever played the game Detroit Become Human, the scene where they're all walking down the street, that's what I imagine like with SB19. And honestly, at this point, ironically, I know Ken's like an introvert, but I just imagine Ken, because he's doing this part, being the one with the like the big flagpole, the big mast, leading during this part, with his members alongside him. I love the little rabbit. I wasn't ready for that. The difference between that section, vocally between that section and the first version of it, Josh has done Josh has done an amazing job with these lyrics, but Justin really has come so far with his vocals. I know what I said earlier, but just the way he sounded in the beginning and then now, there's just such, I love his tone. Oh. Perfect. Love that. I love that. Break it down, break it. I love vocal flips like that. I think the most the most fun part of this song is the chorus, because I feel like it takes itself seriously enough where you know that these that Josh and SB19 mean what they're saying. But it's this almost like relaxed vibe. Again, when I was saying about earlier about the dancing image I had, I imagine like a relaxed vibe as it's been performed. I'm just imagining like as I listen to this in my own time after like recording and stuff like that, I'm just thinking all of the Tagalog. I'm just gonna like be listening and like trying to sing along and just butchering every word, and it'll be okay because I will be in my room away from everyone else. I will not be subjecting anyone to my attempts. um, but I just added that thought there. I imagine if with that "I'm capping, I'm so fly" lyric, I just imagine like if this had a music video at some point when that lyric said, I just imagine Josh or someone just going with like that kind of. Does anyone know what that movement I mean? Like like it's almost like a mic drop without a mic kind of thing. Ooh. No, shut up. I love that. I follow that falsetto. Pablo. Pablo. Oh, no. Oh, it's so pretty. I love. Oh, I need more. I need more Pablo falsetto in my life. I need more Justin falsetto. I need more Pablo falsetto. Just have them sing to me in falsetto all the time. No, I wouldn't make them do that. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. Oh, I love this. And again in my head, I can hear the way that I feel like Josh would do it. And oh. Oh. Come through vocals. What I feel like And correct me if I've missed anything as I've been reacting to this. I feel like this song has had so much of Justin doing vocals, um, and it feels like it. It feels like, and I don't know if Stell maybe didn't want as many parts, or if that's why they're doing having Stell be kind of the face of the lyric video. But it feels like Stell's had a lot less of a, like, he still had a considerable part, but a lot less of the vocal parts, and I wonder if that was a production decision or arranger decision, because I noticed that the arranger and the producer, I think, were different. Um, but it's interesting here because obviously we're used to Pablo. I'm assuming when he produces his direction, being like, you do this, you do this, you do that, and it's interesting hearing how much um, Justin vocals we've got and um, how many pieces of Pablo vocal we've got. Like that part there, that sounded like Pablo to me. And so for me, usually I'd be like, well, that would be a stealth thing. You know what I mean? I think like if I was imagining 8 Ton Ball as a Pablo written song, I'd be like, oh, Pablo would give that to Stell. And so it's interesting here that Josh is almost kind of, or the arranger, the producer in the studio has gone, actually, let's give it to Pablo. Um, It's very interesting.
8-ton-ball, make him crush him down on the ground. 8-ton-ball, yeah, we break it down. Get it, get it. Di naman ang numbers na. Mas malakas.
I love the way that here we've got Ken leading this chorus, and his voice is so perfect for um a really stripped down pared back accompaniment, which is perfect for this section because obviously we're hearing drums, and I know I'm pausing in the middle of and we'll get through it, I promise. But his voice is so rich and thick that it fills all of that space wonderfully. And so it's perfect for this moment where there's like a downbeat moment, downbeat here meaning that kind of pared back accompaniment that I was talking about before we go into a more filled out accompaniment, as I'm assuming, or it might just end. It might be one of those songs where I'm like, oh, it's going to hype up and then it's going to go at the end. I don't know. We're going to find out. But it's perfect. His voice is perfect for that.
Tom-ball, yeah, we break it down. Get it, get it. Di naman ang numbers na. Mas malakas ang basta. Wait, I'm capping. So what, I'm fly. 8-ton-ball.
When we went into Josh, that's great, and I'm hearing ad libs.
Wait, I'm capping. So what, I'm fly. 8-ton-ball, make him crush him down on the ground. 8-ton-ball.
There's Stell, right? That's gotta be Stell. In the ad libs, I mean. Yeah. I love that he's gotten this place in the background there. You can still hear him, but he's in the background. So it doesn't change the hip hop edge. Don't use to hurt me like that, sir. I'm noticing you. Well, that's what I was suggesting could have happened. Benji Bay. Okay. Sorry, I forgot his name earlier. I knew it was a B, but my brain was just like it wouldn't connect the rest of the sentence, the rest of the word, the rest of the name. Sorry, my brain. This was really good. Yeah, I feel like it's a when you think of the kind of trajectory of the album, the EP so far, coming from time to this, it definitely makes sense of seizing your opportunities, taking what you're working for, and kind of making your presence known. Yeah, I really like that. It definitely feels Josh. And I wonder if if when he does solo concerts, because obviously I know at the moment they're doing their Simula Wakas tour for the EP, but I wonder if this would feature like a solo version or in his in his own solo concerts, because I think that would be very interesting to see how the entire thing, because obviously I got my imagination, but obviously I don't know if my imagination is accurate to how he'd do it, if he did it solo or if he, because there's some people and some artists that when they write songs for their group, they won't necessarily perform it solo because they've given it to the group, as it were, even though it was their song originally, in terms of like writing and stuff. Um, um, yeah, I am. So yeah, I really enjoyed that as for a first listen. It was really good. Strong songwriting songs. From what I could understand. Obviously, again, Tagalog. Please let me know kind of what they were saying in those parts. Um, if you if you wouldn't mind, because I'm sure that there probably aren't translations up yet on social media and Twitter and all that jazz yet. But I will look in my own time just on the off chance that there is. Um, I liked how it sounded, and again, like I said, if you imagine the EP as a story, I see how the threads are kind of aligning, um, and I think you almost need. Sorry, my throat. You kind of need that kind of emotional pullback, um, with the kind of the lighter feeling to the song. Um, after time, because if well, obviously I've got Quit to hear next, and Quit sounds like it's going to be a sad song, unless it's kind of like a misnomer where you listen to it and it's actually like, I'm not quitting, get out of here, kind of thing. um, but if it is a sad song, having like Time and then into Quit, it might be that kind of emotional overwhelm, for some people, so that almost this almost like lighter feeling. Like when I say lighter feeling, obviously what I mean is like I'm not gonna cry at 8TonBall. If anything, I'm gonna party. I say that I don't party, but you know I'm more likely to party than that because that's the vibe, um, that it feels more closer to than Time. Um, Honestly, if any of you are able to party to Time, I want to know what your emotional regulation is because that might just be worse than mine. Um, but yeah, so you need that kind of that almost like palate cleansing from a musical perspective. Um, if Quid is going to be, um, um, if it is going to be a sad song, which I'm hoping it's not. I'm not ready for another sad song. I say I'm not ready. I do have tissues. I do have tissues if I need them. We are going to now dive into Quit. Um, I'm just gonna shut up and we're just gonna go, I think. Yeah. So now we've got, I knew that there was a song with Ken on it. And Ken's also producing, composing, producing, and lyricism. And again, Pablo is stepping back. He's letting Philippe and Luke April um, take the reins, which again, on the one hand, I imagine is maybe relaxing for Pablo, as being kind of the main writer producer, often with Josue, but it might feel on the one hand like, ooh, I can just relax a bit more, just go in and do my thing. Um, but equally, there might be that kind of um, worry maybe that he has, not because he doesn't trust Ken. I'm sure he does. Obviously, he trusts Ken, but that kind of when you're used to creating everything yourself, or doing, you might have that kind of ooh moment. Um, Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Philippe Ken's album, um, Luke April he was a producer on That Correct. If I'm misremembering, please let me know. But I recognize that name, and I'm feeling like I recognize it from his album, which I really enjoyed and also reacted to. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I love the little candle at the beginning and the burn, visually. Oh yeah, this is a Ken song. I'm gonna turn this up just a smidge. I preemptively turned songs down now because I don't want to get jump scared. I got jump scared once when I was reacting. I was like, oh god, this is too loud. So yeah, yeah, you can already tell the vibes. This is where the images come from. I've seen this outfit on Twitter. This is where the oh okay. So he looks good. That's a nice color. Oh, I love the guitar. That's sorry, unrelated to the song. That side profile. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, that scream. I missed that the first time. Sorry. I love how guitar led this is. Oh, that's the way that the blur is happening. Oh, sorry. I know this is a lyric video, but I'm gonna comment on everything that I can. I love that constant hat that's in the drums. Oh, and Pablo coming right in with that rhyme on break. Oh, where is it? I've lost it. Take and break. Really simple, but just the way that it has this like almost like short ending. It's like he's biting the words back. Again, it feels like kind of in a similar vein, what I was just talking about with Josh. There's almost like that for all those detractors and people that, and it doesn't even have to be like people in the press or people that are well known, just people maybe in the background that you and I may never see. Just you know, that in closer personal relationships, that idea of using a person and thinking that they'll just fold. Because yeah, while obviously they mentioned hate, there's a lot of people that even if they hate someone, they will still use that person if they feel like they can get like a tactical tactical advantage in whatever field they're in or whatever, or to make them, even if it's just to make them look good. Because it's like that kind of is there a quote? I feel like it's a quote that's like hate has become fashionable. I think I saw a quote that was saying something along that lines. But hate has become kind of fashionable. So while obviously I'm not necessarily saying that, because I kind of said the personal thing, it's become that kind of. It's almost become like the handbag you wear or the sunglasses you wear to be hateful. Not, I don't recommend. I'm not saying to be hateful, but it's become that kind of almost like it's become an accessory at this point with social media and stuff like that. Oh, I'm just thinking back to baby SB19, baby Ken, baby everyone, and just thinking, like, especially where Ken came from. Obviously, yes, where everyone came from, but because obviously this is written by him, I predominantly think about him. The idea of celebrating when you fail, and that use of the word battlefield. Yeah, because we've all got struggles, not just professional struggles as they had to deal with, but also their personal struggles, and that idea of it's almost like that person that when you fall, they stand and they laugh at you and or they stick out their leg to trip you up to make you and that lyric there. Can I please go back to the lyric, please? They praying for my downfall. They thought I would quit. The fact that they almost, as a group, nearly did. Um, there was that period where they you could see it in hindsight as more of a break now, but back then it was like that could be like a quit done. Um, yeah. Um, that hits different. Is that Justin? He sounds so different here. If that's Justin, because it doesn't sound like Josh, and it doesn't sound like Ken. The tone seems too. I mean, it could still be Ken, but the timbre of the voice seems higher, and it's definitely not Pablo. Sounds great though. They try. Oh, they tried to kill all the colors in my mind when all my heart wanted was to be kind. Oh, that's such a beautiful lyric. And yes, I'm tearing up. Shoot me. Because it's like when you think about like when you see the world as a kid, and I know they're not referencing childhood here, but when you see a lot of people say like, oh, when I was a kid, like the world looked so vivid and vibrant, and I think a lot of that is when we're kids and we're so free um of trauma. Obviously, trauma builds up over the course of our lives, but when we're really young, obviously, and that trauma is kind of low and the bullying is kind of low and stuff like that, we see the world so vivid because of that. And then the more people break into us and bully us and are rude to us, the more that the world becomes dull. It's harder to see the beauty in things. It's hard to see, as Pablo's saying here, the colors in my mind, um, the creativity, because that's another. I think that's a metaphor here, um, for creativity, because obviously painting, art, it's all about color. People with synesthesia for music, they see music and sound as color, um, and just oh, I know I paused and during this, and we're gonna come back here just, but that hits me. That hits me. It's so interesting as well that Ken starts it, but then he hands off to Pablo for that part. It's almost like at this point he's using Pablo as his voice. Is almost obviously I'm not saying like he can't stand up for himself, but it's like here he's using him as a kind of a metaphorical shield, um, to kind of speak for him and speak on his pain in that way. I would be so interested again, like I said with Josh, uh, and 8TonBall. I'd be so interested to hear how um, Ken has just performed this by himself in the beginning of the writing and stuff. Um, I'm gonna come back to this. Losing myself trying to be a lie, trying to be picture perfect in your mind, in your eye. Sorry, I don't want to keep going backwards and forwards, but I think that was the lyric. Um, Public perception, not even just literally like when you talk about it in a celebrity context, but public perception when you're just a person um, affects like every aspect often of our lives, um, and honestly can choke us. Um, I feel like the visual here of Ken, that because he does look really good with that, and it's like, but the way he's kind of turned away, it's almost like you're not seeing the whole picture. Um, you're not seeing like the real me behind me because it's almost like I'm slanted towards you to hide it because it's not what you want to see. It's not what um, you want to think of me or you want to perceive. Um, and even that, there's also that kind of visual of also turning your own back. Because he talks about obviously Josh is performing, but I'm going to say him as Ken writing this. He's talking about losing himself, um, and so that idea of turning your back on all that makes you you is also, I feel like, kind of there with the visual there. Um, and it is so sad when you see, and I think we see this all the time, where we see a person um, maybe one on one, and they're one way, and then they're with someone else, and it could be anyone, family, friends, um, and they just completely change, go in on themselves. I'm not obviously speaking about family necessarily with Ken, but just in general, when you think of when people do change themselves, it can be for anybody, um, and like no one's exempt from being the person that makes someone do that. Um, I always kind of try in the limited relationships and friendships that I have. For instance, with my carer, I always try and be like, I'd rather you be honest and share parts than not, if that makes sense. Because you want to know, for me, I want to know the person, not just a sliver of the person.
That's what I would tell her when I would cry. Just to be kind, but it's people who evil my mind. Come inside of my mind. I'm whistling all my demons up on this side. Still thinking I smile, I'm fine. It's gonna take a while. 'Cause I'm all too familiar.
Oh, there's so much to unpack there. I just want to talk about really quickly this lyric when it comes up. Doing frame by frame is really, really still faking a smile, I'm fine. I feel like there's so many meanings just from that one line. Because yes, there's the literal like he's still struggling kind of interpretation you could take it. But there's also, I feel like, another one, which is when you're healing, obviously, you start to do things differently for yourself to kind of put yourself on a better footing with your mind. But there's those kind of old habits die hard kind of thing where you still do stuff that you were doing when you were trying to fit into that person's box. Like you might apologize, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I said too much, or did, you know, and so it feels like that also has that kind of meaning where as he's healing, he's trying not to fake it as much with, fake a smile as much and smile when he is smile when he wants to smile. But there's that element of sometimes maybe he still falls into that as, because it's a habit, it's something he's always done. Um, and I feel like that's just so human. Um, this is I'm glad I haven't cried. Obviously, it made me tear up a little bit earlier, but I'm glad that this sits, as I said earlier, within the order that it does. Um, having, I think, time and then this, especially if you imagine like I reacted to um 8 Ton Ball as a music video. Imagine that had the music video instead of time, and then I reacted like I'm doing right now. If I was doing that way, I feel like I would be a lot. I don't feel like I'd be as receptive to it. I feel like I'd be a lot more overwhelmed just because of the subject matter. Um, I just love hearing. I don't love as in like I enjoy, but I love when Ken takes us inside of his thought process, when he lets us in a little bit. Um, he's so introverted from what I know of him. And so it's to let people in, it can be so difficult. And so the fact that he is able to let us in through music, um, really, really, um, even though it's sometimes saddening, um, sometimes angering on behalf of him for how he feels, um, it's nice that he's able to be able to do that, have that avenue for all of the members too. But but Ken especially. I love the way that the drum is the drum and the guitar are playing off of him rhythmically there. It's like there's a nin in the guitar every other word. It feels like every other beat maybe. Oh, that even though I don't know what was said there, that breathy crasher, crasher. That was, oh, I love going the way that we went there as well, from Pablo into Josh. I'm pausing there because before we get into this chorus, this song is making me think that I want a Justin rock band, like as a side project, like just even if it's not like a full band or something, just Justin and an electric guitar, because his voice is really suiting this. This tone of voice is really suiting this kind of more angsty emotional sound, um, which is interesting because when I think of him, well, obviously he can do that. I feel like there's often a lightness to his voice that's kind of absent here. Obviously, I'm going to eat my words if it turns out this isn't Justin, but that has to be Justin, right? That doesn't sound like Stell to me. It doesn't sound like any of the other members. Again, I'm going to eat my words and apologies if I am wrong, but that feels like that is Justin to me. the way that we went from Justin to Ken to Justin to Ken to Stell. I think we went to Ken again. Um, I'll be honest, I was trying to focus on voices there more than what was actually going on, because I was trying to feel, because I feel like Stell again in this song has had less to do. If anything, it's been more background vocally, the harmonies maybe, um, which is interesting. But obviously here he's gotten his moment there. Love the texture of that guitar. Ooh. Oh, I thought they were birds, they're leaves. Oh. Um, Ken really likes, and I noticed this obviously in his solo work, he really likes choral sections, or at least like these like instrumental sections where the instrumental is still like really vocally led. Um, this is so pretty, and it's giving. I don't know obviously where we're gonna go with this, but it's giving a hopefulness to it. Um, like maybe a sea change at the end of the song. If that doesn't happen, that's fine. But just with the feel free to laugh at me in the comments. Me thinking me thinking that the leaves were birds. I was like, oh, we're getting like a flock of birds. It's gonna be like a symbol of hope or something. And I was like, no, it's gonna be a tree because of Simula Wakas, and the seed and the tree. Ah, feel free to laugh at me for that. Um, but I loved the just the way that we've pulled back a little bit, and there's this vocally led instrumental, and there's the with the drums. Um, feels almost like a heartbeat. More in the bass, I mean the heartbeat kind of sound. I just noticed all the texture on the video as well. Oh, that harmony. Pablo, I think, was harmonizing with himself there. Obviously taking the main and then oh. Oh. I'm keeping an eye on the time because there's so much more to go. It felt like there was going to be more. I clicked the wrong button. I clicked the wrong button. I was trying to hide the video, not not me. um, sorry. I'm leaving that in because that was funny. Just like imagine like a video without me. Um, just my voice. Um, I like that last chorus the way there that it felt like all of the members. Again, it was hard to hear if Stell was in there. Um, again, he's probably maybe in a little bit more in the background in the mix. But it sounded like we had more of so we had Ken, then we had Pablo, and maybe still was the high harmony, but the texture of the voice sounded so distinctly, even in that harmony, it sounded so distinctly Pablo. And then I felt like we went into Justin um, a bit more, and then maybe Josh was in the background, maybe a little bit, maybe not. But certainly Ken, Justin, and Pablo there were taking the bulk of the sound there to me anyway. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Um, and feel free, respectfully, to kind of be like, "What do you mean you didn't hear? Um, you didn't hear Josh and you didn't hear Stella there." Um, it just felt like their textures were missing there. In that kind of that vocal mix, if you like. Um, that was beautiful. Again, as I said, the order of the song so far, I'm glad that this was given a little bit of space to breathe um, with 8 ton ball in between time and this. I feel like I would have been if I'm just imagining like sitting in my own time, just listening through the album, which is often what I do when I listen to music. I listen to the entire album and I kind of like I don't skip, I don't shuffle. If I'm listening to a playlist, I'll do that differently. But if I'm listening to an album, I'll listen to it all the way through without shuffling because I want to listen to it in that order. But if I was, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to handle quit because I'd have already been so kind of emotionally wrecked from time. Because I mean, as I said, I did tear up a little bit at a part, but I was able to kind of reconcile and be present. I feel like if I was listening to it after time, straight after time, um, I wouldn't necessarily have been able to reconcile myself and be present for that in the same way. Um, Once again, I said this when I reacted to Ken to Philippe's solo stuff. Um, his music does definitely hit me um, deep in my heart, and I feel everything. Um, and and this has been no exception. As I said, I would love at some point. And again, this is obviously I'm not saying like you must do this, but I would love at some point if you wanted um, to play um, even if it's just the guide vocals, not necessarily him perform it, just if he did the guide vocals and stuff like that, because it might have been that he and Luke April did the lyrics, not lyrics, the guide vocals together. That I'd like to hear how that sounded before the members kind of put their own timbres and their own vocal colors on the song. Um, yeah, it's been interesting listening. I wonder as well, and again, please, obviously, if this is all a moot point, if I'm just not hearing Stell properly in the song, and that might be me, I'm gonna plead the fifth and say it's my sensory issues because I haven't heard his tone apart from when I was mentioning it in the song. I wonder if there's been an element of Stell maybe saying, because sometimes people do this, members in groups do this, where they say, that they want less parts, want to be more background because of the nature of the song, or it might even just be something of the case of Stell maybe with his solo stuff. He might say like, well, I've had all of this solo stuff. Maybe I step back for a little bit in the group stuff because that I think would be a totally valid um, kind of perspective to have if that's what it is. Um, you know, equally you might have said because I'm seeing I'm seeing a comment here just under the video saying that it's super Philippe coded, which it is, but he gave way more to his brothers, to his members. Um, and I definitely feel that, and so I feel like for me, just listening to it, um, it was a kind of Justin, Pablo, Josh, and then I feel like then it was Philippe in terms of how many lines were that I heard, that I could attribute to a member, and then I feel like Stel was less, and I feel like maybe, and obviously I can't speak for him, but just in my mind, it almost feels like maybe he was kind of like, this is your song, this is your pain, um, or maybe it was just written like that from Ken and Luke April's writing. But if I'm wrong, please let me know. And like I said, if it is, then it's a moot point. But um, I think the most surprising thing about this actually comes from and I don't mean that as in like I expected this song. No, I don't mean that. But the surprising thing for me is I saw obviously all of the members in, I think, the same similar kind of suit outfit. Um, and so I was expecting this to be the song when Ken came on the screen, that it was going to be um that was going to be the song where they all the members were in that outfit. I think it makes sense that it's not, but I was surprised. I was like, oh, that's because I'm assuming that's maybe a promotional outfit that was used. Um, and so yeah, that was from the visual side of it. I think that was the most surprising thing. Um, but I really really enjoyed it. I enjoyed both of these songs. Um, I enjoyed both of these songs a lot. Um, I loved that they were different and that um, they provided that again, that breaking of the emotional vibe, so that when you're listening to it in kind of context of the whole album, you've got that nice little break, from Josh. I'm gonna say because it's Josh's song, um, as well as, I mean, I suppose you could say with the way I'm looking at it is because obviously the other song, the order was, I think it's alphabetical, but the order was the was Benji. I forget his last name. I'm so sorry. Um, Benji Bay, I think it was, um, and Josh. And I think that was because it was alphabetical, B to then to then J. Um, but I feel like this song was more. Um, because I realized I said what I said earlier now is moot as well because I misread that. I still have a point with the production, but the lyrics less so. But even though it's Philippe and then Pablo in the alphabetical order, I do feel like this is more of a Philippe slash Ken song. Um, and so I might be wrong on that, um, but it definitely um, feels like that to me. But I really really enjoyed it. Obviously, as I said, I don't know the Tagalog lyrics. If anyone would like to, I'm not going to expect you to write like a massive comment with both, but if you'd like to, feel free. But if anyone would like to tell me the Tagalog in Josh's song, please let me know, as well as the Tagalog in Philippe's song. Again, I'm attributing it because it feels like one of their songs, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? It feels like they're the main writer behind both. And I might be wrong with Josh. It might be that they did put main writer first, but it just feels like it's the alphabet thing for me, in terms of how it's credited. But yeah, if anyone would like to, please feel free to. Um, and yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me on this reaction. Um, um, I'm excited for um, I'm excited for Dunga and Shooting for the Stars. I was just checking the order in which it was in, because I've made a playlist of all of the videos. Um, I'm excited to hear what those sound like. They sound a lot more hopeful. Um, Turning a page, which I think again, the context of the album, it seems like we're getting a beautiful arc um, through that. Um, and I think quit is the perfect like stepping stone into that, especially with that, you thought I would quit, but almost like I'm still here kind of thing. It's perfect for that change in the story almost of the EP. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what I've asked in the comments. Any comments you have, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye.